Everything in a human's life is navigated by their thoughts, their mindset, right? However strategic they are in their mindset, that's how much progress they see in their life. One way of looking at this world is it's a mind against the mind, right? On one aspect, yeah, we're talking about intelligence. On another aspect, we're talking about psychology, right? Philosophy, spirituality, all kinds of different um, aspects to look at things from. The reason why is because the mind, however clear it is, and however understanding it is about the fundamentals of what life throws at you repeatedly, and the patterns, right? Once you get to know the variables, you can create for yourself avenues to lessen the load, lessen the stress, lessen the burdens, right? Create avenues for yourself to bob and weave, if you know, just like in sports, bob and weave. Just kind of like get out of the way of repeated patterns that come to steal, kill, and destroy. Likewise, you know, a foggy mind, a dull mind. You know, you're hearing a lot of this terminology lately, brain rot. You know, you can give a person like that the advice of a lifetime, or information that can transform their life, make them a millionaire or a billionaire, if they pursued it. But you know, that type of mind, in terms of what they're ingesting frequently, habitually, and practicing, just rotting the brain, whether through social media or drugs, that person doesn't stand a chance, because most of life is in your mind. You know, they say that we suffer more in the mind than we do in reality. That 90% of life happens in the mind. Only 10% happens in reality. How many times have you found yourself fixated on imagining the worst case scenario? Somebody hasn't came home yet. It's 2 hours overdue. They're not picking up their phone. What tends to happen in your mind, right? These are scenarios that we paint up for ourselves, and it usually leads us to what? Finding that we're having stress, our body's reacting to what we're imagining, etc. Right? Only for that person to dangle their keys here, the unlock of the door. They enter in, and you're like, and you can breathe again, right? The mindset can produce that type of havoc in your life, and that's the havoc that the devil would have people to live under, that duress, where they're always behind the 8 ball, where they're always trying to catch up, where they're always trying to get ahead, where they're always trying, right? But when Jesus said you're more than conquerors, he was talking about various different things. Number one, the fact that if you put your faith in him, he's already overcome the world. That's the first thing. That he is the antidote and the key to everything, right? And I've tested this, and it's true, right? He'll save you, he'll redeem you, he'll sanctify you, but you have to stick with him through the uncomfortable parts, because there's a lot of uncomfortable parts to this whole thing, right? But more than conquer in different aspects. Number one, he says, renew your minds. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. So what does that even mean? Many people think that it means reading the Bible and allowing the Bible to permeate through your mind and just remove the old patterns and create new patterns. And I believe that as well. So renewing your mind looks like you throwing out, like, take the computer programming as an example. Like, you know, you have all these windows and apps and stuff like that. You have the recycling bin, you have all of these things that are components to the computer, and you can easily, like, throw things in the trash. You could update software to helping out the computer, right? You can do antivirus. All of this could be related to things that we do to help ourselves. Like, antivirus could be the blood of Jesus, because it covers you and protects you, right? And whenever you do have a virus in the computer, right, a hacker, this or that. That's just a demon coming into your life through an open door, right? So like in the physical, we can relate one to the other, right? So that you can have more of an understanding, more of a grip on how things run, and how you can just appropriate yourself. You don't have to be a victim. But it does take this diligent practice to be about it. You have to have this focus about it. Like, for example, I stopped social media, right? But every now and again, right, I'll get distracted and I'll go and I'll start to scroll for maybe 30 seconds or something like that. And then I'll feel like, oh, that's right, I'm not doing this anymore, right? The point that I'm making is this. My mind has never been clearer. My life has never been better, right? God gets everything of me now. And I'm living the victorious life, period. I also see like the blemishes and all that social media brings, right? The malware, if you will, if you want to put it in computer terminology, right? Like it brings it loads a whole lot of junk into the computer, so to speak, and then the computer runs slower. And it's anytime you're trying to give it useful information, like, oh, we got to download this is something we have to do, right? It takes a long time to load because there's so much information up here. There's junk, a lot of games, a lot of distractions, a lot of social media, a lot of this on the computer. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, it could be something for work, something for family, something for God, something this, and now all of a sudden it's loading really, really, really slow. Have you ever been there? Have you ever seen that? Like your phone is going very, very slow. It's because you have so much junk in your phone, right? So not everything is needed. We tell ourselves, no, I need this, no, I need that. No, you really don't. So less is more. And so think of a backpack and how, if it's full of stuff, how it's going to weigh you down, right? And you're journeying every day. Like you're going to and fro in this life, right? But the more stuff you carry, the more weight down you're going to feel. The less stuff you carry, when Jesus sent them out 2 by 2, he said, don't carry anything, you know? Don't take anything with you, right? I believe that when he said that, it had to do with, like, keep the mission the main point here. Don't be distracted with other things, right? Lest if you take something, you might pay more attention. He even said this about marriage. Apostle Paul said, I'd rather you be single, because people that are married have undivided attention. Now they're paying more attention to their spouse than to God, right? So the intentions are good. I want to pay attention to God. But now the spouse is sounding the alarm, like, you're not giving me attention, right? And then that's the kind of stuff that, a lot of people got going on in their life. So I gotta go now. But yeah, the mind, it's one of those things that, just look at it from a computer standpoint, because I just feel like that's useful and helpful to you, to be able to look at it from a standpoint where it makes sense. Like, okay, so this is what I'm doing in the natural to bring all these, when you want to do a software update, iOS or whatever kind of thing. That could look like you wanting to update your life. That could look like that. But then sometimes your phone comes back and says, too much data, can't do it. Like, you gotta let go of stuff. That goes for the physical, man, just as much. You gotta let go of stuff, make room for this new life that you want. God bless you.